Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on teacher motivation for staying in the profession, a Southeast Asian framework. I'm Thomas Villanueva, a student intern from De La Salle University, your host for today's session. We are delighted to have educators, school administrators, policymakers, and educational stakeholders joining us from across Southeast Asia and beyond. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today as we explore this critical topic. Before we begin our program proper, let me remind everyone that this webinar is being live streamed on SEAMEO INNOTECH's Facebook. At this time, I would like to invite our Innotech Center Director to deliver their welcoming remarks.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and valued participants. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this important webinar, Teachers' Motivation for Staying in the Profession, a Southeast Asian Framework. We greatly appreciate your time and commitment to advancing this critical discourse on teachers' motivation. Teaching is not merely a profession, it is a calling, a privilege, and a profound responsibility. Across Southeast Asia, teachers serve as the backbone of our education system, shaping young minds and nurturing the future of our societies. However, despite their passion and commitment, many educators face overwhelming challenges, including high workloads, limited resources, economic constraints, and policy shifts, all of which can impact their motivation and long-term commitment to the profession. The issue of teacher motivation is not just an academic concern. It is an urgent policy matter. In fact, our 2021 SEAMEO INNOTECH study on teacher motivation, conducted at the request of the Philippine Department of Education, highlighted a concerning trend. While 88% of teachers in the Philippines reported a strong intrinsic motivation to teach, nearly 50% cited financial insecurity and excessive workload as major demotivating factors. This underscores the pressing need for systemic interventions to support teachers' well-being and retention. Building on these findings, SEAMEO INNOTECH took the initiative to expand this research across Southeast Asia in 2024, aiming to better understand the evolving motivational factors influencing teachers in the region. Preliminary results indicate that over 60% of surveyed teachers across Asian countries believe that professional development opportunities and a supportive school environment are crucial in sustaining their passion for teaching. However, disparities in access to these opportunities remain a challenge, particularly in rural and marginalized communities. Given these insights, today's webinar is a timely and necessary conversation with substantial contributions from SEAMEO regional centers and the ministries of education from Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Lao PDR, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. We are honored to present a Southeast Asian framework on teachers' motivation. This framework not only synthesizes key findings from our research, but also provides actionable policy recommendations aimed at addressing the core factors that influence teachers' motivation and retention. I thank our researchers from SEAMEO INNOTECH's ERU, led by Dr. Charlene Almonte Acosta, and all the content experts whose contributions were instrumental in making this research possible. Thanks also to the Knowledge Management and Networking Office and the student interns from De La Salle University, Manila for organizing this webinar. Maraming salamat and have an active engagement in this webinar.
Thank you very much for those inspiring words and for setting the tone for our discussion today. Now, let's start our session with a quick interactive activity. We would like to know what motivates you to teach. Please take a moment to visit the Mentimeter link that we've shared in the chat box or access it through the QR code flashed on the screen. And respond to the question, what motivates you to teach? Again, please take a moment to visit the Mentimeter link that we've shared in the chat box or access it through through the QR code flashed on the screen and answer the question, what motivates you to teach? While submitting your responses, let me share that Innotech recently conducted a regional study across 10 Southeast Asian nations to understand what drives teacher motivation and retention. In today's webinar, we will delve deeper into these findings and explore practical strategies for sustaining teacher motivation. Please take a moment to visit the Mentimeter link that we shared in the chat box or access it through the QR code flashed on the screen and respond to the question, what motivates you to teach? Thank you for your responses. It's really fascinating to see such diverse motivations from our participants. We can see that many of you are driven by passion, their eagerness to shape the future, and their love for their students. These insights align well with what we will be discussing today. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today's webinar. Dr. Sherlene Almonte Acosta. She is a Senior Specialist of Educational Research and Innovation of SEAMEO INNOTECH. She provides technical leadership and overall management of the implementation of all Educational Research Unit projects and operations. Our speaker brings extensive experience in educational research and policy development across Southeast Asia and has been instrumental in developing the Southeast Asian Framework on Teacher Motivation. Let us give a warm virtual welcome to our keynote speaker.
Good day, everyone. I'm happy to present with you the findings of our study entitled Motivated Teachers in Southeast Asia, Factors Influencing Motivation to Stay in the Teaching Profession. On behalf of my team member, Erlene G. Umali, who served as the project manager for this research project, Hias Clamor Torneo, and Catherine Toralba, I'm Sherlene Almonte Acosta, the head and the research specialist of Educational Research Unit of SEAMEO INNOTECH. As to the flow of my presentation, these are as follows. I'll be discussing the background and rationale of the project, the research objective, followed by the methodology, then the discussion of findings, conclusion, and policy recommendations. So as to the background and rationale, motivation as defined in the literature as what pushes an individual towards a certain action or goal. There are several motivation theories, such as the ones indicated here, and they point out the satisfaction of certain needs to drive motivation towards a particular goal. And so in the study, which focuses on teacher motivation, we define it as what attracts individuals to remain in the teaching profession. This study in particular Relevance as we recognize the key role of teachers in improving students' performance and enhancing education quality. It supports the achievement of SDG 4 of ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong opportunities. As for SEAMEO INNOTECH, it fulfills one of our focus areas, which is strengthening teacher and school head preparation for the future of learning. So let me walk you through the research objectives. We have two research objectives. These are to identify factors that make teachers stay in the teaching profession and provide policy recommendation to sustain the motivation of teachers. Next, as to the methodology, this study was supported and participated by the 10 SEAMEO member countries, and the country representatives were nominated from either a SEAMEO Center or Ministry of Education. These country representatives conducted interviews and gathered relevant documents. So furthermore, this study actually was presented in the Center Policy Research Network, wherein we were able to buy in the participation of the 10 member states. So as to the interviews consisted of at least 10 teachers per country with at least 5 years of teaching experience. The age of teachers ranged from 26 to 61 years old, and most of them are female. A majority of them are teaching in public schools and in urban areas. As another form of data gathering, we conducted a regional research forum wherein the country representatives and content experts discussed the gathered data to identify the relevant factors to teacher motivation. A thematic analysis was used to analyze and identify patterns and themes in the interview data, and data validation was later on conducted by country representatives and country experts. This slide presents the framework for motivation of teachers in staying in the profession in Southeast Asia. The ones in yellows are the core factors which are primary drivers for teacher motivation. The one in blue are the contributing factors, which are the factors that enhance or support the core factors for teacher motivation. So let us go through to each of the factors. First, in the sense of purpose, or is the sense of purpose and fulfillment, motivation of teachers is primarily anchored on their concern for students. They have the desire to make a holistic impact in the students' lives. And teachers believe that teaching the young generation is their way of contributing to a better society or to the entire nation. Next is the teaching as interest and passion. Teachers express their love for teaching, the subject matter, and of course, the love for children. For some, it is the fulfillment of their childhood dream. Others also consider teaching as their vocation in life. Another core factor is a sense of growth and development. Based on the interviews, teachers stay because they still see themselves having growth in their role as teachers, and they still strive to be better. Next, here are the contributing factors. Teachers have a sense of being respected and valued by their family and our community. For most, teaching is regarded as a valuable profession. However, there are also teachers who express that they would stay in the profession no matter what the perception of the society. Next is teacher well-being. Having work-life balance through more manageable workload and flexible schedule, including being close to their homes, also affect teachers' motivation. Another contributing factor is having supportive school environment that is reflected in the policies, working relationship with colleagues, and resources in schools. Next is salary, incentive, and benefits. With teaching as their main source of income, for most, teachers stay in the profession as it provides them with stability to support their families. Lastly, government laws and policies also contribute to the motivation of teachers. It may be encouraging given the efforts of the government to elevate the status of teaching profession through its teacher-related policies. But at the same time, it can also be discouraging given the challenges faced by the teachers. So, in conclusion, the motivation of teachers is comprised of the interplay of core factors and contributing factors. Teachers may stay with the fulfillment of core factors alone or the satisfaction of contributing factors only. This may lead to a sustainable workforce. The core and contributing factors have to go hand in hand and be addressed to sustain the motivation of teachers. And for teachers, not to be pulled by other professions. Based on the results of the study, here are some policy recommendations to enhance the identified core and contributing factors. Emphasize the sense of purpose and fulfillment through professional development programs focusing on values formation. Assess the interest and passion for teaching through rigorous selection criteria and career guidance for aspiring teachers. Next is recognize and reward teachers who pursue lifelong learning and ensure equitable professional development opportunities. Strengthen the value and respect for teachers by sustaining programs that celebrate their contributions. Prioritize teachers' well-being by fostering work-life balance and lessen administrative duties and consider home proximity in teacher deployment. Further, foster a supportive school environment with good working relationship and adequate resources. Adjust the salary and benefits of teachers in comparison with other professions to increase its status and prestige. Consult teachers in the formulation of government laws and policies affecting the teaching profession. So there, teacher motivation is a crucial aspect in teacher performance, and we know that teachers are central to a quality education system. And so, the core factors and contributing factors have to be addressed to sustain teacher motivation for a more sustainable teaching workforce. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you for that comprehensive presentation on Southeast Asian framework on teacher motivation. The insights you've shared on how purpose, passion, and professional growth sustain motivation are truly valuable. We will now watch a short video featuring interviews with teachers from across the Philippine nation. These educators have shared their experiences and what keeps them motivated even during the challenges they face. Let's watch.
Hello po, I'm Cheryl Mayotanyes. 8 years na pong nagtuturo sa Minian Elementary School, Marcia of Negros Occidental.
I am Alan Emmanuel U. Ortiz, a teacher in Buenaventura Alandi National High School, SDO Tayaba City, Region 4A, Calabarzon.
I'm Joylyn Bernaldez, an English teacher at Panacos City National High School, Senior High School.
I am Hazel M. Crisostomo from Mandaling Elementary School, teaching 18 years.
Yung motivation ko po bilang isang guro, doon po ako lumaki sa Minian, doon po ako nag-aral ng elementarya, at doon ko po nakita yung sitwasyon ng mga bata na ayoko pong lumaki sila na hindi po nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Isa rin po sa motivation ko is yung mga parent po na no read, no write po, na hindi talaga matulungan yung mga bata kasi po wala rin silang alam sa pag-aaral. Yung iba po nakapagtapos ng po ng grade 1, alam lang po magsulat ng pangalan, kahit pong mag-add or tsaka minus po, hindi po alam ng mga parent. Kaya po, para sa akin bilang isang guro, nahihirapan po at nagiging challenge din po ito para po matutunan po ng mga bata kung paano po, kung ano po kaimportante yung edukasyon. Pag minsan po natutulog yung mga bata sa classroom po, doon po sila nagsasabi na, "Ma'am, kakapoy gid, kakapoy na, kaya nag-ugrap ako sa balay, nangampop ako, nagpakampop ako, para may pakaong kami sa balay, may nagbakal kami bugas." nga kung sila ganigaan mo na, ano na lang ay anak ko nga teacher, nga gusto man bulig sa mga bata. So, wala gid ko rason nga makapoy man, kay sila man mismo gani ginakapoy na tapos may tsimpo pag mag-eskwela.
I motivate myself to see those students who learn from me in every discussion and every teaching that I am sharing with them. In every day, it has a fulfillment for me to see those students, to see those struggling students that learn from me. Even a small detail in our topic, it makes me happy. And of course, being a teacher, we are not just only a teacher, but I've been into different fields also. I became a coach in table tennis, I became a coach in writing, I became a coach in Chinese Mandarin. And these fields, I have been coaching them. And it makes me happy to see them learn from me. And it is a bonus for me when they got achievements or awards from those fields. And for so long, in my 6 years of experience, it makes me happy to see them grow. And it may not be about in the exact day or time, the fulfillment, but after seeing them for years, they will still remember you as their teacher. And that makes me happy. And that will make me motivate to teach more.
I was motivated to teach by my genuine desire to positively impact the lives of my students. Masayang-masaya ako na may bahagi ang aking mga kaalaman sa aking mga estudyante. Indeed, it's very fulfilling to see them grasp new concepts, overcome challenges, and of course, achieve their goals. So I am highly motivated by the opportunity to expand my knowledge and skills, and of course, for job security and stability.
Number one is I have a passion, so I am enjoying sharing my expertise and sharing my knowledge, especially kids like grade 3 because I am teaching in grade 3 UPL. So another one is inspiring our pupils in their future. Siyempre, we want to be contributor for shaping their minds for the future. Then also, we are motivated, or I am motivated in teaching because teachers have a stable career also, and we love holidays and syempre benefits.
I have a favorite line, kanino ka bumabangon. It seems that what motivates you to teach? I am very idealistic when I was young. I want to share my knowledge and skills to my students. But then, as you grow older, it will change your perception. The most important thing is the learner that you inspire. It is very fulfilling when someone will visit you in the school and says, "Mom, your teachings helped me a lot in my college life." And more thing, they will visit you again. "Mom, I was your student way back." And telling you, I am professional now. It's like an inspiration when someone will tell you that you are good in teaching. It will ignite your spirit within my heart that this student needs me more. That is why I always do my best as if this is the last teaching that I will do. I want to help those students who have difficulties, especially in their life. I want them to dream more. Dream in spite of difficulties that they are experiencing in their life. They need to do something to make their life different.
Those were very powerful testimonials from educators across the Philippines. Thank you to all teachers who shared their stories with us. We will now move to our open forum, and together with me is Dr. Charlene, and she will be addressing questions from our participants. If you have any questions, please submit them through the chat function of Facebook. Ayan. So now we have our first question that I've noticed just a while ago. So Dr. Acosta, what are simple low-cost ways that schools can implement to boost teacher motivation?
Yeah, thank you for that question, and Thomas, and good afternoon once again. As to small or low cost activities for or that would enable the teachers to stay motivated. One is on providing recognition and appreciation for teachers. It could be recognizing their hard work through verbal appreciation or through certificate, for example. We can also provide recognition of some milestone like work anniversaries or even achievements of teachers. Also, it's important that you involve teachers in the decision making. In that way, they can feel a sense of belongingness or they're part of the team, and the administrators recognize their ability to contribute to whatever important matters in the school. So another thing is also providing them with information about the different professional development. So in that case, they can feel that their administrators are willing to improve their performance, or the administrators are concerned in improving the performance of their teachers. So there are a lot of simple gestures that can have big impact to the morale of teachers or to make the teachers stay in the profession.
Yeah. So thank you for your insightful response, for providing recognition and making them feel that they belong. No?
Yes,
Giving their voice importance. That's what's important.
that's right.
Now, moving to our next question, how can school administrators create a more supportive environment for teachers?
Okay, so to create a more supportive environment for teachers, it's important for administrators to have an open communication with their teachers. An open communication channel would be very helpful because in that way the teachers could feel comfortable in discussing any issues within the school or any issues that they have in performing their tasks. So others also could, another way is providing empathy and respect. So the administration, or rather, the teacher, or rather the supervisors or school principals, they can show genuine concern for teachers' well-being, both professionally and personally. So they have to show empathy and respect to teachers, and also provide a fair workload distribution. If they can see that teachers are overly burdened with certain tasks, they can distribute the tasks so that teacher will not feel overload or overburdened with tasks.
That's a great point po, no, about the admin should openly communicate and provide empathy and respect to their employees and the teachers. No? And for our next question po, what are specific policies that have successfully improved teacher retention in Southeast Asia?
I would like to cite the case of Singapore and Malaysia. So they continuously train their teachers and upskill their teachers. So the continuous professional development, this is easily seen in the context of Singapore and Malaysia. In the context of the Philippines and Vietnam, for example, one attempt that has been being done by the ministries of education is decreasing the number of student per classroom, or improving class size. So this has been seen already in the case of the Philippines, the case of Vietnam, and this has been proven to be helpful for teachers to increase their motivation and continue or stay in the profession. Of course, the so-called incentives and benefits. All countries in Southeast Asia, they are trying to improve the benefits provided to teachers, those incentives given to teachers. This is, of course, needed, but as given in the study, it's not the sole basis or factor for staying in the profession. But again, ministries of education are improving the salaries and benefits of teachers. So another thing, this is actually a result also of, or based on the interview of teachers, very helpful for them to improve, or for the Ministry of Education to improve the deployment of teachers. There's a need for equitable deployment of teachers. So the distance of their workplace to or school to their home is something that is being desired by teachers in many countries in Southeast Asia. And I think ministries of education are trying to address this particular concern.
And po, so thank you for addressing the need for improving practical deployment for the teachers. and
Equitable
improving-
deployment, yeah.
Opo. The improving of class size and the incentives and benefits. And for our next question po, how can teachers balance workload and well-being to stay motivated in the profession?
Of course, there are different ways, but the teachers themselves have their own unique way of dealing with stress or dealing with the different schedules. So it's very important that teachers are aware on how time management or let's say prioritization and focus of what are most impactful for the students. And also they have to set boundaries of establishing clear work boundaries. So limit work-related tasks during personal time and take weekends or evening to recharge. Also, there's a need for teachers to delegate and collaborate some work so that they will not be burdened by so many work or tasks. So collaboration, sharing of information, and what could be a helpful way to address some of the concern within the school. These are important to maintain the well-being of the teacher. Of course, self-care routine. These are important, and it varies, of course, from one teacher to another. Also, I think teachers should celebrate small wins. So whatever achievement that they have to celebrate it. And also, of course, administrators should recognize the small wins of teachers. I think I mentioned that already earlier.
Yes po,
Thank you.
you mentioned na it is important to give the teachers recognition.
Right.
And of course, for them to stay motivated and for their well-being, time management, clear work boundaries, collaboration, and celebrating small wins is a very
Right.
important step. And for our next and last question, actually, what role can parents and the community play in helping sustain teacher motivation?
One is on expressing gratitude. Teachers need not be given a lot of things or whatever that, not in a form of bribery, but at least recognize the effort of teachers through, let's say, verbal acknowledgement from the parents, from the community. In that way, they feel a sense of respect and even a sense of being recognized. Also, part of it is fostering respect, and the parents, the community could volunteer and collaborate with the different activities within the school, no, with the teachers. So collaboration and even volunteering in those activities are cherished or actually being appreciated by teachers. So in those ways, the community and parents can appreciate, a small gesture like that can foster appreciation appreciation of teachers in the community.
Okay po. And we actually have one more question, pahabol.
Right. Okay.
In the Philippines, should the PPST be revised to help retain teachers in the profession? How is this different in other Southeast Asian countries?
Okay, with other Southeast Asian countries, there has been an attempt, of course. I would say that in terms of professional progress in professional development, the Philippines is not way behind. The Philippines are actually ahead, or not the topmost, or the one being ahead or number one in terms of looking into the professional growth of teachers. We are not left behind. So yeah, continuous revision is necessary so that we can take into consideration the context of teachers. It's not something, as I've said earlier, the teacher should be consulted on how this should be revised because, of course, they know their context and they know what is appropriate for their professional growth and development. I hope I answered the
Yes, po,
question.
of course. Thank you for your very comprehensive answers, no, revolving on recognition, giving importance to the teachers' voices. And unfortunately, you won't be able to address all the questions submitted today, but rest assured that we will be compiling them and sharing the responses through our follow-up materials. Now, let's test what we've learned today with a fun Kahoot quiz. I will hand it over to Ivan, my fellow student intern, who will be hosting this interactive segment.
Alright everyone, we're about to kick off a fun interactive activity using Kahoot. And we are excited to announce that our winners will be receiving exclusive merchandise from SEAMEO INNOTECH. But before we begin, please take a moment to prepare your phone or other devices like computers so you're ready to join the game. So here are the steps on how to join to our Kahoot quiz. So first, open up a new browser tab on your device and go to kahoot.it. Then second, once you're there, you'll see a box asking for a game pin. Then third, once you've entered the pin, it will ask you to type in your name or the nickname. Make sure it's something recognizable so we all know who's winning. So I've already shared the game pin in our screen. So our game pin is 5220805. So you can join na sa ating Kahoot quiz. So you're feel free to ask any questions or notify us if you're having trouble getting in. I'll give everyone around 1 to 2 minutes to join before we start. So let's get ready to have some fun. I think we're good to go na to start the Kahoot quiz. So let's start the quiz. So our first question is, which factor is not mentioned as a core factor for teaching motivation? Alright, so the correct answer is job market trends. Next question is, so our next question is, what is one core factor that influenced teacher motivation according to the findings? Correct answer is value and experiences. So let's proceed to our third question. Our third question is, which of the following is not a part of the policy recommendation? Alright, the correct answer is provide teacher with housing and transport allowances. Our last question would be, which organization conducted the research on teacher motivation in Southeast Asia? Correct answer is the SEAMEO INNOTECH. Alright, so congratulations to our top 3 winners. So our first place is
Super.
AJ and second is Rhea. Then our third place would be Sir Mar. So congratulations to the top 3 winners. To claim your prize, please comment your Facebook name so we can contact you with details and on how to receive your prize. So stay tuned for our message. And that wraps up our game. Thank you for all participating and congratulations once again to our winners. Now, let's keep the excitement going. I'm handling it back to our main host, TJ, to continue with the program. So take it away, TJ.
Thank you, Ivan, for that very engaging quiz, and congratulations to the winners. Now, for a unique perspective on today's discussion, we will hear a synthesis from a student's viewpoint, and let's watch.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Siegfried, and I'm a student from the Management of Financial Institutions. Thank you for letting me share a student's perspective on why teacher motivation matters to us. From what I learned today, teachers stay because they care about us, their students. But they also need support, things like fair pay, smaller classes, or even just a thank you from the community matter. When teachers feel valued, they bring more energy and creativity to the classroom. For example, my history teacher started using games to make lessons fun after attending a training workshop, and we all started scoring higher, I'd say. So, here's what I want to say to policymakers and school leaders. Listen to teachers. They're not just employees, they're mentors shaping our futures. When you invest in their well-being, you invest in us, the students. And to all the teachers here today, thank you. Your dedication inspires us to work harder, dream bigger, and to believe in ourselves. Let's make sure every teacher feels supported so every student can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you for that refreshing perspective. It's important to remember that teacher motivation ultimately impacts student learning and experiences. Now, as we approach the end of our webinar, I would like to invite our Center Deputy Director to deliver the closing remarks.
Thank you very much for your participation in our webinar today. And I would like to also thank you, Dr. Charlene A. Acosta, who is our speaker of the day and also the intern from the De La Salle University. Thank you so much for being with us. And also, of course, the team from our Knowledge Management Unit, who is tirelessly working on this webinar. The topic that we are talking today is very important. We talk about the motivation of teacher. Why is it important? Because it is about how can we make sure that all of you be able to work in a very safe environment and also have a happy work life. We want to value you, teacher, because you are the most important person in the life of one individual. Without you, the learner will not be able to be equipped I'll be able to adapt and learn to live in this environment, to live in this digital economy era. So with this study of SEAMEO INNOTECH, the teacher's motivation is something that we would like to know. What is the factor that you want to stay in your profession, and what is the factor that maybe trigger you to leave this profession? So with this webinar, we heard from our speaker that there's a lot of factors that actually trigger the motivation of the teachers in Southeast Asia. And one of the things that is very important is about the life balance of the teacher and also the financial situation of the teacher. And I would like to encourage the educators, decision makers, and also the policy makers to take a look closely into this study, to be able to learn how are the teachers think, and also to be able to come up with a policy that address the teachers' motivation matter. So with this, I'd like to thank again for your participation today at our webinar. And in the future, we will have a series of interesting and also insightful webinar that I would like to invite all of you to follow our social media through Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and also Instagram, and also our website at www.seameo-innotech.org. And with this, I'd like to sign off and stay tuned with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those cozy thoughts. Before we end, we would like to ask all participants to complete the online evaluation form. Your feedback is valuable in helping us improve future events. The QR is flashed on the screen. While completing the evaluation, I'd like to share a few announcements. A recording of this webinar will be available in Innotech's Facebook and YouTube channel within the next few days. We invite you to follow Innotech on social media to stay updated on upcoming events and resources. As we conclude today's webinar, I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, our student presenter, and everyone who participated in making this event a success. Most importantly, I would like to thank all of you for your active participation and engagement. Let us end with the Innotech hymn.